Nothing yet. Christmas tree. Waiting and seeing if everybody comes. Look at this, Chris. So currently there is 0 people watching.
That's cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Isabella? Oh, there's somebody out there. Come here.
You reckon I can ride a bike?
Pardon? Probably.
You know what I found the other day? You know what I was going to buy?
Foozle, g'day mate, how are you? Yes, Chris?
You know what I was going to buy for an op shop present?
What?
You know the old like red and yellow cars? That
Yeah.
You step in, you can run around in. I found one of $8.
Yeah. We had one at the hospital when I was there. So, yeah, we're at my family's place, so you'll have to excuse the people walking around everywhere. It's my brother Chris. Say hello, Chris. Yeah, looks like the Paddle Pop line. G'day, gamer girl Alicia. How are you? We've got 4 people out there. Say hello, Isabella. Hello. So yeah, we're away from all the animals for a very rare change, and down in Melbourne for Christmas. So I thought, considering I don't have a video ready for this week, we'll do a live stream and pass on our Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Yeah? Don't you think? It's you. So who else is out there and how is everybody? What are we all doing for Christmas? Merry Christmas, Foozle. Yeah, what are you up to? Yeah? Do you want to get down and go over there? So hi. Off she goes. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with that on a Christmas Eve. Whoop. For dinner we are. Where are you based? Gamer girl. It's not dinner time here. It's just after lunchtime here in Australia. But yeah, Christmas Eve over here. I imagine it's the day before in the rest of the world. Whoop. I imagine it's the day before in the rest of the world. It will be pretty well predisposed. For dinner on Christmas Day, we're having a barbecue. Oh, that's the way to do it. Oh, there's the other brother. Say hi, Chris. Hi, James. There you go. That one doesn't talk. Oh, yeah, and somewhere here is hiding behind the couch is Isabella's mum. It's the most elusive creature in Australia. She's there somewhere. Boom, boom. Live in Australia. Oh, yeah? I never know with people, the amount of people we get on some of our videos. But yeah, when you said barbecue for Christmas, I thought that probably gives it away. She's hiding over there somewhere. Drinking some port, but tastes like dishwater. Yeah, I've never tried port myself, but I can't imagine it tastes much better than that anyway. I'm a pretty simple drinker, to be honest. Huh? So we'll going away over Christmas or anything like this? There's only 4 people out there today. It's a quiet one. More people might pop on. What do you think? Yeah, you're not sure where you want to be. Who else is out there? We've still got 4 people. Combat 18 Gym. So where are you? Where is everybody based? I know one of us is in Australia. I think Frizzle's in Australia. We're a real nice guy with a great channel, mate. Wish me and my family all the best. Thank you. Oh, don't you like our channel? Well, yeah, thank you for watching our videos, mate. I'm glad everybody enjoys them. Australia, oh, well, we must all be Australians. In Wollongong, everybody's Australian here today. I wasn't sure with, you know, what time it was, whether we'd get people from all around the world or what. Half the time we're all Americans watching this, so. Do you want to go down and chase Uncle Chris? If he comes close, you might... Merry Christmas, Shannon. G'day. Hope you have a good one. Is Chris all the way over there? So what are you up to, Shannon? 7 people. We must have a few more people watching. What's that paddle pop lion doing over there? Bye-bye. So we've got 7 people. I know 4 of us have said hello, but Peter Delly. G'day, dear friend. Wishing me a very happy Christmas from Australia. More of us Australians. Just feed all the rats and snakes. Story of my life. I get that. Merry Christmas, Gamer Girl. Yeah, so I'm actually away from all the animals for the day. So we were madly cleaning and feeding yesterday. So everybody's set for the 48 hours that we can come down, visit family, and yeah, head back tomorrow. G'day, Jomin. How are you? One American here today. They've got Isabella riding a tricycle around the house at the moment. Good, how are you? I'm good, thanks, Jomin. Yeah. First day off in a little while for Christmas Eve. Have tomorrow off and then head back home. I have lots of pets. What sort of pets do you have, Gamer Girl? If you watch our videos, you're probably aware we've got quite a few pets ourselves. Change it over. What do you think, Isabella? You know, things to do, places to ride. Oh, you're coming back here. That's you still. So yeah, Game Girl, what sort of pets do you have? Like I said, if you watch our video, I have a pet galah. The first bird I ever had was a galah. I don't have a galah anymore. I've got a Major Mitchell's cockatoo.
Remember how we got it?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a galah. I do have, you know, quite a few reptiles and a wombat and squirrel gliders and ringtail possums and brushtail possums, etc., etc. So more than enough. Love the videos. I make Australian animals and birds videos. I'll have to look it up, Peter. What's your channel's name? Or you do it on Facebook? Or always good to see other videos and Australian stuff. But yeah, can't hop on YouTube without... You look up reptiles on YouTube, it's all ball pythons. And I've got nothing wrong with ball pythons, but it's nice to see some Australian wildlife for a change. Keep many other Pretorians? No, just the squirrel gliders. Yeah, no sugar gliders or anything like that. Josh Lizerman, good thanks. How are you? I got the calendar you sent, actually. It's hanging up now, so thanks a lot for that. I used to keep sugar gliders as well, Feasel, but just squirrel gliders. Peter Daly. I'll have to look it up, Peter. My galah was your first pet bird. Yeah, galahs are got no shortage of character. They're cool birds. I foolishly taught mine to ring a bell for food, and then she never stopped ringing the bell. But I was like 15, so... What have I been up to, Jomin? Oh, working. Between shows, you know, the lead up to Christmas is our busy period. So we've been doing Christmas parties and birthday parties and agricultural shows. So the animals have been out at work, you know, almost every day. And we've had farm work at the same time. So we only finished shearing our own sheep yesterday. And we got a quiet week and then it all picks up again after that. We certainly do have some of the most amazing animals here, Peter. And the sad thing is, you know, obviously people like yourself are into them, but, you know, we visit a lot of schools, and I think the vast majority of kids in schools today probably know more about wildlife in Africa and Asia than Australia. And it's not their fault. It's just, I suppose, all the big, expensive documentaries these days, like a lot of the David Attenborough stuff, is all amazing work. But it's all based on megafauna, elephants and gorillas and this sort of stuff. Whereas Australia's got a lot of, I suppose, small animals that are easy to sort of dismiss and maybe hard to make big, exciting documentaries about. So people need to know more about it. Your mum says hi. Her name is Mary. G'day, Mary. Merry Christmas from Australia. I'm pretty sure my brother's watching over there or something. Yeah. My brother James, who's one of these 12 people watching, is actually hiding on the other side of that over there. We'll see if we can go have a look. Would we like to meet James up close? Yeah, James is the shy one of the family. Yeah, he's a man of few words and even fewer actions. Table, yeah, the table is nice. This isn't my house. This is my mum and dad's house. So it's pretty different to our place. We live in a humble 3-bedroom home on a farm. This place is significantly more extravagant. Yeah, the lyrebird. You're right. The lyrebird, I think, is found half an hour from where we are at the moment. More people should be talking about these sorts of animals, but because they're not colourful, not 6 foot tall. Question for me: I have 3 female albino Darwin calf buttons and 1 male. Want to put the male in with the females, but the male is aggressive. Melbourne, where are you? I'm in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. I grew up here, but I live 4 hours west in Hamilton, near the South Australian border. If your male's aggressive, I wouldn't be keeping them together like to live at all. It's not a good idea to co-house snakes just for the purposes of living, that they're solitary animals. They don't need company. They don't particularly enjoy company. If you're wanting to put them together for the sake of breeding, you've probably missed the boat this year. Normally we cool them down over winter, and at the very end of cooling, as you start warming them up, you're introducing them. And if you're doing the temperatures and everything right, and they're thinking about breeding, the aggressive male will probably change his attitude when he's in breeding mode and there's females around. Do you want to get back on the bike, or do you want to get up here? You don't know. Okay. I'm good, thanks. Nature nerd. I like that name. How are you? See, I hope that helps you combat. But yeah, as far as housing them like through the year, I wouldn't be keeping them together. Overseas people would be amazed with the cassowary. Yeah, it's an emu in drag, isn't it? They're as close as you're going to see in Australia or around the world to a dinosaur. Is your mum over there? Say hi, Mum. If I turn the camera around to you, I'm 165 subscribers, I'm guessing, away from 1,000. Congratulations. I need less than 100 to get to 3,000. If I can get to 3,000 by the end of the year, it'd be amazing. That's what I'll ask Santa for Christmas. If I can get the last 80 subscribers I need for 3,000, it'd be pretty amazing. Your mum just went in that door and she's come out over there. And yes, you're in the screen. Is it true cassowaries can jump off the ground and slash? Yeah, I used to look after a cassowary called Yarrabah. And he could jump, like get his feet 4 foot off the ground. But he doesn't have to jump to slash out at you. They can just kick out. They got a big toe about that long, 5 inches or so. They can cut you open pretty easily. There's actually been 2 people killed by cassowaries in the last 200 years, but they were both people going out and deliberately interacting with cassowaries. There were people, poaching eggs, actually. So any animal's going to defend its babies. It's just the cassowary is very capable of doing it. The Great Barrier Reef, yeah, we've got all sorts of things. The Great Barrier Reef, I'd like to say it's well off because of all the publicity, but they reckon up to 1/3 of it's already died. But there's all sorts of other amazing, like I live in the Grampians, which is amazing in its own right. It's an hour and a half inland, and once upon a time it used to mark the coast. There's shells in the cliffs of the Grampians. So, whoop. We've got 14 people out there. There must be some other people watching. Hi, James. James is ran off, but he can still see the comments if you all say hello to James, my little brother. Change the profile pic and banner today. I'll have to have a look, Nature Nerd. I don't think I've checked out your channel, but I will. Always like watching other wildlife YouTube channels.
Oh, because you guys are coming on Boxing Day, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'll be now Boxing Day. I'm not sure.
Hello, James. James Nature Nerd says hello. Do I have a favourite animal in Australia?
Isabella.
Yeah, Isabella's probably my favourite Australian animal. But I'd have a couple that would be a tie. I've got a particular soft spot for crocodiles, dingoes, wombats, and shingleback lizards. I'd struggle to decide between those. I know, having 4 choices is a bit greedy, but you know, I like them all. What's your favourite animal, Gamer Girl? Thanks, new here. Oh, have you just found our channel? How'd you find it, Nature Nerd? I'm always curious to know how people stumble across our channel. I appreciate every single person watching, but at the beginning I used to have to push and share and scratch and claw to get every single subscriber, and it seems that more of you guys are just finding us every day, which is kind of cool. I like kangaroos. I'm assuming you mean frilled lizards, not grilled lizards. And dingoes. You might have seen we've got a few videos out with our dingo Aztec. I found it from looking up wildlife or something like that. Oh, well, it's good to know people are finding it. I suppose we've got almost 100 videos out there now, so more people are finding us that way. So yeah, I suppose while we've got a few people here, good sort of topic to talk about being Christmas time. I'm not sure if it's the same around the rest of the world for the couple of Americans we've got here. I know it's cold and snowy over there, but I imagine being Christmas, you guys are still having some holidays. Anyways, got to run get last minute Christmas gifts. No worries. But yeah, I imagine regardless of where you're around the world, I know we have our long summer holidays, and some of you in the colder parts of the world might only have a short holiday for Christmas. But here in Australia, the Christmas period is the highest incidence of wildlife being killed on our roads in Australia, which is pretty sad. The RACV reckons there's 400,000 cases, roughly, of insurance claims of animals being killed by cars. And obviously there'd be significantly more than that. All the birds and small animals that are hit that don't cause enough damage to justify insurance. Thrilled, had my channel for under 4 months, 125 videos. You've done a lot more than me. Something like that. It's still the 23rd. Christmas Eve is 1 hour and 10 minutes away. Yeah, well, it's Christmas Eve here in Australia. But yeah, I only do a weekly video and I don't always get that done. So we haven't got as many as you, but keep going. I'll have to have a look. But yeah, as I was saying, unfortunately, the vast majority of wildlife that's hit by cars in Australia is hit over the next couple of weeks, the Christmas holidays here in Australia. Just because so many people are on the roads, and you've got a lot of people who I suppose are normally not driving on country roads, who are suddenly driving out to go there camping for their holidays or something like that. Which means that they're not maybe looking out for wildlife, they're not aware that they've got to be looking out for wildlife, and lots of animals are killed by cars. And, you know, we can't completely avoid this. Accidents happen, kangaroos crossing the road, they get hit by a car. But the sad thing is, in the case of most of our marsupials, you guys might have seen Boo, our baby wombat. She came to us after her mother was hit by a car, and she was lucky. The people that hit her, they stopped and they checked the pouch and they pulled her out and gave her to wildlife care. But if they hadn't, it could have taken her a couple of days to die. She would have died of cold or exposure. If it was the middle of summer, she could have been eaten alive by maggots and things like this. So it's pretty horrible. And I get that not everybody is, I suppose, comfortable pulling over, checking a pouch, taking a baby out and sending it to a wildlife carer. But it's pretty easy to call a wildlife carer and say, look, there's a kangaroo on the side of so-and-so highway. And the easiest piece of advice I'd give people to know who to call, you know, we've got fantastic groups like Wildlife Victoria and Help for Wildlife that try and cover the whole state. And in city areas, they're pretty good, but in country areas, they're sort of lacking, I suppose, in the amount of members they've got that can get out to these animals. So they're often passing it off. But as you drive around Australia, you can't go a couple of 100 Ks without seeing a sign with Help for Wildlife in a number. And this day and age, we've all got phones in our pockets. If you take a photo of that as you're driving along, it means you've always got the nearest number for anything you see. So, you know, you might not be comfortable checking it, but you can ring them, they'll come out and check it. And as you're driving around, you sometimes see wildlife with a cross spray painted on it, which isn't graffiti artists hitting a new low. It basically means that its pouch has been checked. So, you know, every one of these is potentially an animal that They don't all survive, but either being saved or not having to go through a long, pretty horrible death.
Doesn't matter how many hours.
So yeah, it's a good thing to do. Gonna make a video about what you get for Christmas. For Christmas. Do I see wildlife all the time in Australia? I suppose. Unfortunately, we see a lot of feral animals. I live out in the country, so you can't go a day without seeing rabbits and hares and these sorts of things, and plenty of bird life. But yeah, I'm lucky that I'm in a part of the world where I can see kangaroos on a daily basis. I can see platypus. If the weather's right, quite a few reptiles in summer. You don't see many wildlife in the US. I suppose the US is such a huge country that if you're in the northern states of the US, near Canada, you're going to be much more limited with the wildlife you might see in your winter over there than you would if you're in Texas or something. And they let us... let me go back up to that. We found your baby galah in a box next to the road. Yeah, our galah was hit by a car when I was a kid, and that's how it came to live with us. Yesterday I saw a hawk and a lava. It was very cool. Oh, well, yeah, bird life's always interesting. I've always wondered about the X's on the roos, yeah. Kangaroos, wombats, any marsupial. When I was young, I sort of was curious about it as well, but yeah, the X's are generally wildlife carers. So it means that the next wildlife carer knows that they don't have to stop and check it, because these guys are pretty hard-working, patient people. You can't walk down a country highway without seeing dozens of dead kangaroos, and the fact that these guys are willing to stop and check every one, they do some pretty amazing work without any help from the government. There's no assistance at all for wildlife carers in Australia. In the south, I see crocs and I suppose and gators there as well. I used to work with alligators. Yeah, wasn't aware of the X's. Yeah, oh, well, there you go. Glad we could pass on some knowledge today. It's a bit different not having all our animals to show you today, but I'm not home, so we could still squeeze in some wildlife knowledge in our more casual video.
But they're now not even being offered penalty rates as well. Yeah, they've been cut.
You having fun down there, Isabella?
It's reading Women's Weekly.
But see, I'd want it for my own interest.
How long have I had my channel for? About 2 years. Oh, we go. My pet blobfish has arrived. Zoe's my little sister. Zoe, come here. If James, my brother, is terrified of the camera, Zoe here would be dying to get on camera. Say hello to Zoe. Zoe's my baby sister.
Hi.
Yeah. So,
Yes. Yeah, everyone's graduate program is different. Right? So you could be on the program.
how long? Yeah. So how long have I had my channel? I've had my channel for about 2 years. I've gone through a few sections where I've been lazy and stopped posting, but slowly getting there. Hi Zoe. Nature Nerd Outdoors says hi Zoe. So does Gamer Girl Alicia. You've got fans out there already. Yeah. Zoe's not happy to see me at all. She's just happy that her niece is here. Isabella is her favourite plaything.
Yeah,
Hey Isabella.
And then if you're doing, say, 40-hour weeks, but then another week's 32 hours.
I need to become the Aussie Brian Baz. I can't even say his surname. Brian Barczyk. I don't know if I'd want to be. Brian does some amazing work, but he's also got some things that people certainly don't agree with going on. Not to say I'm for or against them, but yeah, if I could get 1/10 of the success in my videos that Brian gets, it would be amazing. But I suppose you guys have to do it, not me. I can only make the videos. If you guys, keep sharing them, the more you share our videos and get people, the more time I suppose I can justify putting into them. How many pets do I have? I don't really know. Do I own any birds? Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got some native ducks. I've got Frank, the major Mitchell's cockatoo, who's in some of our videos. And we've got a few not native animals. So we've got chickens and regular ducks and things like that as well. I have a guinea pig and a dog. I don't have any guinea pigs, but I've got 5 dogs. Wildlife Brothers. Been a minute. Glad we could catch another live stream. G'day, how are ya? Guys, if I know a few of you have your own channels, but if you're into wildlife, check out the Wildlife Brothers. They do amazing videos. I have 2 macaws. I would love macaws, but I stick with Australian animals. As much as I love macaws, I've hand-raised a couple. but I suppose I think conservation needs to start at home. So yeah, we stick with Australian species because of that.
So, like, normal.
No worries, Wildlife Brothers. You do good work. It deserves to be shouted out. Have 2 sugar gliders. Are you in Australia or in the United States, Anders, or somewhere else?
Pretty nice.
I know sugar gliders are pretty popular over there.
It's like a shit to me too. It's like my 3-year apprenticeship. I could go work at a supermarket and make shit like
Japan. God, there's Australian wildlife kept by everybody. Over there, I suppose you keep them indoors, or so like sugar gliders. And I know sugar gliders are popular around the world as pets. And I don't want to be generalising, but most of the videos and stuff you see of them kept in the United States, they're kept in sort of indoor like bird cages, whereas Australia, almost without exception, they're kept in large outdoor aviaries. Like you should be able to walk in, put your arms out. That's the kind of enclosures that we keep sugar gliders. I keep squirrel gliders myself in Australia. So how do you keep them in Japan? What sort of housing do you have for them? Be really interested to know. And you're small. I know a lot of the gliders overseas are descendant of gliders from Papua New Guinea, because obviously in Australia we're not allowed to export animals. That's the problem, because Japan, the apartments are small. Yeah, they're not an animal. I'm not saying people can't look after them well in an apartment, but they're not an animal I'd keep if I lived in a small space. I'm lucky that I've got 100 acres, so we've got aviaries and large spaces for them, and I'd like to build bigger aviaries for them. Yeah, in the wild they can glide 70 metres from tree to tree, so they do well with room.
You've done a poo.
So we can make
We use a DIY china cabinet. Interesting. Most of my reptile enclosures when I was younger. Today they're all sort of custom made. But used to just be converted TV cabinets. And how's the family? Everyone's doing well. Yeah. I'm visiting Melbourne. So we've got the Christmas tree behind me and all the family over there. Yeah. So doing well, Wildlife Brothers.
Don't me or I'll smack you.
Mum's having a rest because she's working herself to the bone. Got a new leopard gecko. Did you say you're in Australia, Alicia, or? Wouldn't be a leopard gecko if it was in Australia. My lizard pit, you could swing a cat in. Yeah, like large. I'm not sure people in the rest of the world get that saying, swing a cat in, but large outdoor enclosures is the way to go if the weather allows and where you live is suitable. You get to see more of how those animals work in the wild. When is the Wildlife Brothers next video coming out? I don't know, but I watched their video on the coral reef. They've had a couple of them, which are really cool. I don't do underwater stuff at all. My brothers are fantastic swimmers. They might be the people to do that. But yeah, the Wildlife Brothers, they've got some really cool videos on, was it Costa Rica or the Caribbean where you guys visited? So
With my hairdressing at home. No, this week.
I'd rather stay above water.
Monday to yesterday, I made 15 grand. Well, 1,500. From just doing half days.
So Anders Jacob, over in Japan. How'd you find us all the way over in Japan? Just stumbled across our videos? I'm always curious to know.
Oh my.
You do a lot of cash in hand.
Half, because I don't have the FPOS set up, because for me, with only a small business,
Pardon?
it's not worth me to get.
Yeah, I'll get a bottle of water, Zoe.
Yeah.
You could probably get
Camp Kennan guided me here in one of his videos. Fantastic. Yeah, I've got to do another video for the Camp Kennan Army this week sometime. How about swimming with a croc? One day I should do a swimming with a crocodile video. Maybe I can bring a couple down to Mum's place. They've got a pool. And we can do some swimming with crocodiles there. What's up, back mate? Remember me? G'day, Nicole. How are you? I don't remember, but I'm not very good at remembering anybody. I've got terrible memory for all these. Nobody's got normal names on these Nicole Moores. I'm sure you can jog my memory there. But yeah, I've got to do a video for the Camp Kennan Army channel. But I'm running out of ideas. So if you've got any ideas for the Camp Kennan Army channel, I try and put a video up there every month. But yeah, I'm glad you found us through Kennan. Hopefully you like our videos. Kennan's in the limited dealings I've had with him, a really nice guy. Any more noteworthy fossil finds? No, so I'm not into fossil collecting myself. Not that I'm not interested. I just sort of don't have the time and probably don't have the patience. But Tim Flannery comes out to our place every couple of years and does it. So there's been nothing in the last sort of 12 months, but they were out there about 18 months ago, and they were digging for shells, and they were specifically trying to take shells back to a university in Colorado, where they were going to use them with some sort of technology to figure out what the average temperature was at the time where the shells were deposited, to sort of study, you know, variations in global temperature. So I haven't heard the results from it. I don't know how long these tests or studies are taking, but that was their last sort of fossil-related thing they were doing over there. I remember how I found the channel was in the Wildlife Brothers channel tab. Oh yeah? So if you watch us, you already watch the Wildlife Brothers. Fantastic. Just a freshwater. Oh, we've got one of each, a freshie and a salty. I could put them both in. Who knows? Maybe my sister will go swimming with the two crocodiles. She won't. She's terrified of them. Years ago, I had a 7-foot crocodile that we put in the swimming pool. Not many accessible sites. Yeah, all the ones I know of are on private property. Excellent. That was our goal featuring the channel. Thanks, Wildlife Brothers. Yeah. I am the one that loves dingoes and live in South Australia, Adelaide. Oh yeah, that jogs my memory a little bit. Unfortunately, dingoes have a hard time in South Australia. You're not allowed to keep them. I do a few shows in South Australia. Not all the way out Adelaide, but like Mount Gambier, the eastern half of South Australia. And I'm not allowed to take the dingo across the border, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, but asbestos won't cause you any harm unless there's two types. There's no, I'm saying there's friable and non-friable asbestos.
Yeah, well, it's the worst one front. But there's like a sheet. There's actually the joint a bit that
There's
just
an asbestos sheet.
It's like dropped down.
Yeah, so Wildlife Brothers and I have a series where I give subscribers of mine a shout out, and if you are subscribed to my channel, I would love to give you a shout out. Yeah, well, I'll have to subscribe as well. The shout out's just a bonus, but it sounds like you've got an interesting channel, so I'll go have a look when I finish up here. And are you back?
It'll actually, you might be lucky, but it might be, it could be a lot cheaper than you originally expect, because obviously when they're doing asbestos outside, in the ventilated area.
That is why when I'm older, I'm going to move to the NT.
Don't need an asbestos.
You don't have to be in the NT to own a dingo. Dingoes, you can keep them in Victoria, the Northern Territory, Western Australia, New South Wales, and South Australia if you're north of the dingo fields. How long will the stream be up? We have to duck off for a bit. I'm not sure. I suppose until we run out of people or things to talk about.
This question I'm allowed to dump. Yeah. But he'd be like, I'm happy to do it because I'm but
You're right.
provided he's wearing asbestos suit, he can do it. You don't need to be licensed to move asbestos in a domestic house.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do that in a minute. Yeah.
It's not hygienic. She needs to change.
Oh, she's got a mother and an uncle and an auntie over there.
Yeah, but you know.
Oh, I suppose. Hang on. She is cute. So yeah, you can own a dingo in New South Wales. We'll have to wrap this up in a minute. But yeah, you can own a dingo in New South Wales. They're just considered dogs there as far as legislation goes.
Yeah, no, I was going to say at least.
I wouldn't recommend somebody keep one as a dog. They need sort of pretty good fencing. Here in Victoria, we require a 2.5 metre fence working with kids. Yeah, kids are harder than animals. But yeah, but they're considered a dog over there in New South Wales. So if you can find one that's, you know, available to be been bred, you can obtain them. I certainly think you need a little bit of knowledge or experience, or at least be in contact with people who are, because behaviourally they're a bit different to regular domestic dogs. Not that they're not good pets, they're just not a good replacement for a dog. They're kind of like a cat in a dog suit. Yeah, so my dingo Aztec, which, like I said, you might have seen in some of our videos, he's got no desire to please me at all. So he can sit, stay, do all these sorts of things, but he does them when he wants to do them, not because he wants to please me, which we've bred into dogs.
It's not that expensive. Well, I've had a couple of quotes from a couple of people. Don't eat that, please. No, Isabella.
Do I need a license to own venomous snakes in Australia? It depends what state you're in. Well, I'm pretty sure in all states you'd need a license, but the license is easier or harder in some states. So here in Victoria, you just pay for an advanced license. In New South Wales, they've got a tiered system where they break the venomous snakes into sort of levels of how hard they are to look after or how dangerous they are.
Yeah, look, she's passing.
And you know, once you've kept one group, you can work up the next stage, up the next stage.
Getting a little bit over a poopy nappy.
In Queensland, you've got to have two written references from other experienced keepers. Help me, Zoe. That's what she says.
Come here. Come on. Come here.
So yeah,
You coming?
the license changes on each state. I think in Tasmania, all you have to do is pay. I certainly think needing a license for venomous snakes is a good idea. If you watch our videos, you'll know I keep a few venomous snakes. But having a license stops somebody going out and just getting them. And even with a license, that still happens. You might have seen Slug, our taipan, in some of our videos, whose last owner really liked her, but didn't have any experience with venomous snakes. He had some pythons. He realised that it means he could keep venomous snakes on his permit. He bought some taipans, and he was bitten by Slug. Spent 11 days in hospital on kidney dialysis. So, you know, I think a permit system is not a bad thing when you're dealing with animals that you know, have the ability to kill you if you're not doing everything right. So, yeah, you do need a license, but it's probably for the best. I'm not sure about overseas. I know over in the States, some areas you don't need a license at all, and some areas you only need a license for venomous stuff, and some areas you can't keep venomous. Do I keep pygopods? I've got one common scalyfoot. That's it. 35 degrees there. Yeah, it's 30-something here today. It's starting to warm up. Which makes me nervous being away from all my animals. I know they're all good. We've spent the last, 2 days getting them ready to be away. But yeah, I don't like being away from home when it's warm. My last video about the snake bites was very helpful. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That was the 5 things not to do if you're bitten. Like I said, I think I pointed it out at the beginning of that video that, all the points that I listed are to do with Australian snakes. I'm sure a lot of them are transferable to snakes in the United States, but my first aid experience has all been with Australian venomous snakes. I've never had a snake bite, touch wood, but I've actually had to treat 4 or 5 occasions where people have been bitten by snakes where I've been working with them. Why would somebody try to suck out the venom? I don't know why somebody would try to suck out the venom, but it's a very common myth.
Which do it in Red Dead Redemption.
There you go. My brother's pointed out that you do it in Red Dead Redemption, that cowboy video game. So, people are taking medical advice from the Xbox these days. Unfortunately. Could I do more dingo videos? I'd love to do more dingo videos. I suppose you've just got to let me know what sort of topic to do. I can't just do one on dingoes because I could go for 45 minutes. I've done a couple on are dingoes Australian and are dingoes dogs. How dingoes and hopping mice work together to shape deserts. Just got a new puppy. What sort of puppy is it, gamer girl? Not a dingo. But yeah, if you've got dingo questions, leave a comment on some of our other videos and let me know, and I'll do one where I feed a dingo. I can, but it's not that exciting. He eats out of a dog bowl, and he eats mincemeat and dog food. For the Camp Kennan Army, yeah, maybe I'll do a dingo one on the Camp Kennan Army. I suppose most of them haven't seen him, so I should show the enclosure. Yeah, I could probably do that sometime. It's like a little backyard with a very tall fence. It's nothing super... Golden Retriever. We had a Golden Retriever. Yeah, they're very good dogs. You're back, my Isabella. You just want the bottle of water.
She does have her own water bottle down there.
Keeping everybody happy here today. My dog breed is a Husky cross Rottweiler. That's an odd cross. I like crossbred dogs, but some of these crosses you have to wonder who put those two together. But I'm sure they're a good dog. Away she goes. I have a Yorkie mixed with a Jack Russell. Oh, well, considering we're talking dogs, I have 3 coolies. We have a Kelpie and I have a dingo. We've also had a Malamute, a Staghound. I used to have a Labrador Collie cross. We've had a lot of dogs, but because I work on a farm, I've got some working dogs. What sort of dog was that?
It was a Burmese mountain dog cross Saint Bernard.
There you go. That's an interesting cross. My brother was talking about Burmese mountain dog crossed Saint Bernard. Just be a big fluff ball. You sort of wonder why would you cross those two, because they're both in the same family anyway. They're both mountain dogs.
Mountain dogs are a bit healthier. They don't drool.
Yeah.
They don't drool as well. So
What do you think? Yeah.
Saint Bernard drool.
I know, but wouldn't that just risk bringing drooling into? I suppose you could look at it as the mountain dog's fixing the Saint Bernard, or you could say the Saint Bernard's lowering the quality, like the health of the mountain dog.
I really
I
want a
know.
mountain dog. That's what I want. A mountain dog.
Yeah. We've got a dingo research centre. Aztec, my dingo was actually born at the dingo research centre near Gisborne. I used to work there when I was 18. Love collies. Yeah, I've had a few collies. We've got 2 border collies here at my mum's house. I use coolies, which are like a collie, but they're a different breed for sheep and cattle work at home.
I have a coolie.
Yeah, and my brother's got a coolie cross as well. So,
A German coolie.
well, yeah, that's what coolies are. But the Coolie Association officially calls them Australian coolies.
German Shepherd cross coolie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a German.
But German coolie was her original name.
I know. So she's the German coolie.
A very German coolie. Excuse the rambling, guys, but if you've seen some of our live streams, you'll know, compared to our regular videos, which are fairly to the point, it's pretty casual on our live stream videos. But like I said, I feel bad that I won't get a video out for you guys this week, so it means you can give me any of your wildlife questions that might be good ideas, and I can pass on a Merry Christmas. I was living in Morocco, Northern Africa. Yeah, I'd love to visit Morocco. My friend took a stray dog, was not even DNA test, and not even the DNA test could figure out what breed it was. I imagine over there'd be a lot of very old breeding as well, like the pariah dogs in India, which don't turn up on genetic tests as far as I'm aware, just because they're essentially feral dogs in India, and I'm assuming in Northern Africa they'd be the same. Breeds that are so old that they're really sort of primitive, and they haven't had the genetic markers put into these breed tests. So these breed tests generally are made up of all the common breeds. So there's quite a few things that don't turn up on them. Used to have a Tibetan Spaniel. Are they big or?
Tibetan Mastiffs.
Is that what I'm thinking? Tibetan Mastiffs. They look cool.
They're like 30,000 dollars.
Really wish I could get a dog. Not enough room or space, so snakes are rough. Yeah, the good thing about snakes is, they don't take any space. Have a...
Greyhound.
Pardon?
Dr. Greyhound, they sleep 20 hours a day and then need 15
They do. You got a German Shepherd. I like Shepherds. Unfortunately, a lot of them have back and hip issues these days. So, yeah, but yours is a crossbred.
A German coolie.
Not yours. My brother's is a crossbred. He's got a German Shepherd crossed coolie. Dream dog is a Kelpie cross Australian Shepherd and a Border Collie. They're good dogs.
Don't ruin the Shepherd.
I have a 6-month-old tri-coloured Merle Border Collie named Tex. No, that's nice. I've got as I said, coolies and to a minor Merle. So Merle is very common, too common in coolies, unfortunately. A lot of people breed them to be Merle and sort of aren't picking their best working dogs. So it's taken me a long time. I've got coolies that are sent down from New South Wales trying to get good breeding in my work dogs. Do they have much snake breeding for cool altering genes in Australia, such as ball pythons? Yeah, it's always been on in Australia, but never to the extent that you get in the ball pythons. Hit that like button. Thank you. Yeah, so we don't have the amount of morphs you have over in the United States, largely because we're closed. You're not allowed to bring anything into Australia, whereas the United States, they've got all these morphs, but a lot of their morphs, were wild-caught ball pythons or from Germany or other countries. And they've got the whole world breeding, they can bring snakes in. Whereas all our mutations have to be from here. Unfortunately, a lot of them probably from overseas. Jaguar carpets, we know turned up over in the United States and then magically turned up here in Australia. So unfortunately, some of them are smuggled back in. But yeah, there's a lot of people breeding mutation colour morphs. Whether you're for or against it is a different topic entirely. I've got a video I've half filmed and I've got to edit on whether breeding colour morphs reduces the conservation value of animals. Yeah, a few of our snake morphs definitely come from the US. It's nobody will own up to it, obviously. But yeah, the timing is just too convenient for them not to. But yeah, I'm doing a video on whether we're reducing the conservation value by breeding colour morphs. At least your blue-tongued skinks, blue-tongued skink colour morphs are plenty in Australia. Yeah, we got lots of blue-tongued skink colour morphs, which is largely thanks to pretty much one guy. Joe Ball has done amazing work for the blue-tongued skinks. There's all sorts now, and polygenic animals with 2 or 3 or 4 different traits in them. Had a jungle jag. Yeah, I don't particularly like the idea of breeding jaguar carpets myself. I'd probably take one on if it was donated and needed a home, just so I could talk about mutations and I don't have anything against mutations, but you know the neurological issues created by some of these are not good. Could do a video on what type of dingoes there are. Yeah, you know, Fraser Island versus alpine versus desert tropical dingoes would be a good video. I might have to do that. Have a lot of fish. I've always been interested in fish, but never had much experience with them. I buy fish 100 at a time, and they're crocodile food. Nice tree, yeah. I'm not a Christmassy person, but my mother is, and I'm visiting my parents, so the tree's up. What kind of dingo do I own? Aztec is a pure alpine dingo. So the main difference is he's got in wintertime a double coat. If you bring an alpine dingo from Victoria, where I am, up to Queensland, they'll lose their double coat because it's warm. But you bring them back, they grow it again. Whereas if you bring a dingo down from North Queensland or from the middle of Australia, a desert or a tropical dingo, to a cold region, it can't grow a double coat. It doesn't have the genetics for it, which I suppose is the major difference with alpine and desert dingoes. There's also some genetic differences. We can actually, decipher the two of them. But yes, they are different types. Didn't know dingoes were domesticated. It's open for debate whether dingoes were domesticated. I personally don't consider them a domestic animal. I think they probably went through the very, very early stages of domestication in that people had poached puppies from the wild, 20,000 years ago, and they'd probably kept the dingoes that were easy to have around the camp. We never domesticated them in the respect that, to me, domestication implies that we've deliberately bred something the way we want, like livestock, sheep, horses, dogs, cats, this sort of thing. And Aboriginal culture, who is the only culture to have any sort of experience with dingoes, never actually partook in selectively pairing up dingoes. Just the ones around the camps bred. So that's how early domestication of the dog began. But it's not like they said, oh, this one and that one are going to make nice babies, we'll put those together. They didn't castrate ones they didn't want to breed or anything like this. So, yeah, from that respect, I don't think they've been domesticated. Local pet shop is a Joe Ball Blue Tongue. Yeah, they're pretty expensive. How much would it cost a year to own a dingo? Oh, I'm not sure. About the same as a dog. You'll probably want slightly higher quality food. They don't deal with grain in their diet very well. Don't you think dingoes have a bad name in Australia because of a certain event? Yeah, the dingo taking the baby certainly didn't help them. There's been a handful of other fatal dingo attacks, largely on Fraser Island. That being said, for every dingo attack in Australia, I think there's been 4 fatal dingo attacks. There's been 4 or 5 in 200 years. There's 6 domestic dogs kill people every year in Australia. We don't worry about domestic dogs, so maybe we shouldn't worry about dingoes so much. And the other issue with dingoes is people ask whether or not the dingo took the baby. And I say, look, I can't say in that case because who knows? I'm not a lawyer or forensic scientist. But a dingo is certainly capable of taking a baby. I don't think that absolves them from any responsibility. If you took your baby to Serengeti National Park in Africa and left it in a tent and something came and ate it, it'd kind of still be the parents' fault. Yeah, look at the pit bull. Well, I used to have a pit bull. They're nice dogs, but yeah, any dog that's not socialised is capable of doing harm to somebody. Even a socialised dog, if it's put through enough pressure. My family has a pet Java macaque.
Is that what you want to drink?
I think that's about right. He is definitely a handful. He's been a huge part of our family for 15 years. I'm only familiar about this from from a Seinfeld episode. What, the dingo and the baby story on Seinfeld? I don't watch Seinfeld, I wouldn't know. See you later, have a good one. No worries, Shannon. Catch you. Pardon?
Come here.
Yeah, you reckon?
Oh, Claire and her dad said Merry Christmas.
Which Claire? Oh, like Claire, my friend Claire. What, you meet them at work or something? Was Claire at work?
No, Dad works for Delta.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I could do a video on animal news in Australia. I suppose I could. There's a lot of news all the time. I try and do things when I think of something that might be interesting to you guys. How long have I had my dingo? 7 years or so? 6, 7 years? Yeah. I got him when he was, little fluffy ball, 10 weeks old, 9 weeks old. So yeah, had him his whole life. Be with us the next 10 years or so. Yeah, the dingo baby thing. Oh, I didn't know that was in Seinfeld. One of my brothers is madly into Seinfeld. He's the only brother not here yet. I'll ask him. He's seen every episode ever made. But yeah, it certainly hurt them in some respects. Do I trust Dingo with children? I don't think he's going to do anything, but I wouldn't leave him alone with children. But the same way that we've got regular dogs that I wouldn't leave alone with children either. So I don't think it's any more or less likely to hurt a child than a domestic dog. But yeah, I think it'd be irresponsible to leave any dog unsupervised with children. Just because children are capable of, doing things by accident, pulling their ears or something like this, which every dog will react to. One might put up with it a lot longer than another, but every dog is capable of doing harm if we push past what their, I suppose, comfort zone is.
Is Isabella ready for a story?
Not even comfort zone, it's their level of tolerance, I suppose. That's a cool thing.
Isabella.
That is cool. That's how long I've had your dog. Oh, well, yeah. One of my dogs, up until a few years ago when he passed away, we'd had for, 10, 15 years. He was 21 years old when he passed away. So, I'm thinking of eventually doing private tours, opening up an educational place, something like that. Look, it would be the dream, but it's not possible where we live. And also, as soon as you're open to the public, you've got all these extra issues with people coming on. We're based in a small country town. People don't visit. So who knows? Maybe one day, if you guys share our videos enough and, it becomes viable. But at the moment, no. We do still show our animals to the public, but we take our animals out to events, which you probably don't see on our YouTube channel much. But if you like our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/wickedwildlife, you'll see photos of our animals doing shows at country fairs and all sorts of stuff. At a Rottweiler, I'd leave him to look after my baby. Yeah, one of my coolies is probably that. Yeah, one of my coolies is probably the same. But like I said, every dog has a level that it'll put up to, and it's never ever the dog's fault when something happens. It's the person's fault. What's your job, if you don't mind me? Is it YouTube? No, I don't make enough money from YouTube to not have a job. I run a business, Wicked Wildlife, doing wildlife displays. So we take reptiles and native Australian animals to educational shows, schools, birthdays, kindergartens, things around Victoria and Australia. And I also work on a farm to make ends meet. So yeah, busy. Between all that, we try and get enough time to put out a video every week for you guys. What do you do for a job? Nature nerd. Living the dream. Yeah, it's a busy dream. But, hopefully the wildlife stuff gets busier and busier and we can devote more time to that. Because wildlife is the goal. It's what I've always done. So I do a really good job exposing to people with wildlife and not just myths. Yeah, that's what I try and do, there's enough myths about wildlife without us making them bigger. And even, I try hard not to exaggerate everything. There's some other channels out there who do really well, but they maybe hype things up a lot. They go out of their way to get bitten by animals and provoke animals and stuff, which, they're exciting enough as is without agitating them. So, yeah, we're, I suppose, in the business of myth busting. Am I going to do a show in South Australia in 2019? I've got a couple booked already, but I'm in Mount Gambier on the 20th of January. Did I start off with reptiles? Yeah, reptiles is where I started when I was, I don't know, 15, 16. Started keeping reptiles and just grew from there. Your job sounds great. I'm just cleaning rodent cages twice a week. Yeah, we've got enough cages to clean and stuff as well. I'm only 13, but I want to be a wildlife biologist, wildlife conservationist, or environmental engineer. Oh, they're fantastic aspirations. I suppose the wildlife conservationist part, you don't need to be tertiary educated. I'm not much of a student. I tried university and all that, and I was better at engaging with people and stuff. So I didn't finish. Cool, that is near my birthday. Yeah, well, Mount Gambier, I don't know, it's 4 hours from Adelaide, but it's certainly South Australia. But yeah, I started the uni thing and I wasn't great at uni. So what I suppose my role that I sort of carved out for myself was taking what all the university educated guys learnt, the zoologists and the biologists and stuff, and translating it into English for you regular people, everybody else to understand. So I think we need everybody along the spectrum. No worries. See you, gamer girl. Alicia?
Fine, I'll sit on the floor reading Harry Potter.
Merry Christmas.
You might just sit there and play with the toys, maybe.
No, it was like...
Need to go. No worries, guys. Well, yeah. My favourite animal is probably a black bear. What is mine? Oh, I said a while back now. But it'll be a tie. There's wombats, crocodiles, dingoes. That'll all be pretty good. Don't think a piece of paper makes the man. It's real life experience. That's right. You know, when I was, I suppose, university age, I sort of took the same approach. I'd rather have left and worked hands-on with animals. And I was lucky. I got a lot of hands-on experience. I suppose now that I'm a bit further down the track, the piece of paper in some ways would have been good. Not to prove anything, but it would allows you to become more involved with the conservation side if you decide to do that route. So if I did have the piece of paper, would be able to become a bit more involved with research programs and stuff like that. Which doesn't mean we can't do anything to help. You know, I read a lot of scientific articles and stuff, and I try and make them interesting to regular people, pass on the knowledge. There's no point in these scientists learning everything if the average person on the street can't understand what they're saying. But anyway, guys, that being said, we've been here for almost an hour, and there's a couple of people who are going already, so we might call it there. But at least I was able to drop by and pass on you guys a Merry Christmas and whatnot, because you probably won't hear from us for the next week or so. I know, Isabella, we're coming. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, check us out on Facebook or our Patreon page, patreon.com/wickedwildlife, where you can help our videos keep coming out and all that sort of thing. But yeah, thanks for dropping by and taking an hour out of your day. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. See ya.